Hey everybody, good afternoon, happy Friday. This is GreenFloyd Levels, and I'm here today to talk to you about the return of Exalt. They dropped on Twitter just a couple days ago that they've been tweeting a little bit, and then they hit us with this little teaser clip or teaser picture right here. They dropped a roster. Then there's a link in it for HD that I'll have to look at some point later. I might look at it in this video, I might not. And then they gave us a teaser for Extol 3. Now that's absolutely crazy. Tons of teams have been coming back lately, and Exalt is obviously one of the best to ever do it. They innovated long after most people thought that there was no innovation to be done in the montage scene. I mean, the results speak for themselves. They have countless absolute banger teamtages. Their weekly TTs or their smaller TTs are absolutely excellent. They've made 227 of them, which is an absolutely insane feat. And myself, as well as probably everyone with a brain who follows the montage scene, is very excited about this. Now, I have quite a few talking points that I want to touch on. I'll try to keep things brief. I will definitely be leaving timestamps. And in addition, I'm hoping, although I can't promise anything just yet, I'm hoping to do a little Q&A with some members that I'm friends with. I already reached out to a few people. Glare said he's interested. Kings is a tentative maybe, but probably not right now. I mean, I'm very interested to see what these guys have to say. But anyway, let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is videos they'll be making. So we already know they confirmed they're making an Extol 3. Which is absolutely crazy. Extol 2 was their most successful video by a goddamn landslide. 261,000 views, 8,500 likes. Absolutely crazy. This is one of the wildest videos ever to grace the montage community, and it came so late, 2017. There are, as far as I'm aware, no Call of Duty videos released that late that have seen this level of success. These guys practically run the show now. And they did before they disbanded, ended, whatever you want to call it. In any case, they're back now, and I mean, what I'm curious about is, if you look at their channel, like obviously they had Extol 2, they had their final teamtage before Extol 2, which in and of itself was almost big teamtage worthy, and that was pretty crazy. I really enjoyed that. And then they've had all their other teamtages in between. Now, what I'm wondering is, are they going to make more videos than just Extol 3? I'm not sure. Obviously, we're all housebound right now thanks to COVID-19. I'm curious to see if they're going to make any of these smaller teamtages. Will they do a comeback video? Who knows? But I'm very interested to see, because honestly, as much as I revere and enjoy their big videos like Extol, Extol 2, and all those, I honestly sometimes enjoyed their smaller videos more. I feel like there was a sort of it's a different vibe. It carries a different sort of weight, and I really enjoyed their smaller stuff. But I'm definitely excited to see what they do with Extol 3. But I know various teams like Raw's talking about doing just a comeback video, and I'm curious to see if Exalt is going to ease back into it with just yet another. Like, if they're going to just hit us with Teamtage 288, or if they're going to do some sort of a big comeback like they did after the first time they wound down following the first Extol. But in any case, as for clips, no one has ever been so good at hitting clips like the members of this team, honestly. It is not particularly close. Like, just banger after banger clip in their sections that mean well, and even in their filler sections. Like, these guys are absolutely crazy. And I'm curious because obviously there are many of us that have, and many, not us, I obviously am not in the team, never will be, but all these people that are in Exalt right now, I'll take a quick peek at the roster here. A lot of these people are employed. They have jobs, they have other hobbies, they're busy. A lot of them have said outright that they don't exactly plan on playing too much, or they've already released their quarantine tages, and that's all they planned on releasing. I'm very curious to see how people, like, not to throw anyone under the bus, but I'm curious to see how people like Everest and Rate, both of whom, as far as I were aware, weren't really looking to be playing in the long run. But I'm curious to see how these people handle things. I wonder if Essins, Drops, Lurk, District, etc. actually reached out to these guys and were like, hey, you guys trying to like grind for a big video one last time? I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued. But I mean, I'm curious if between all these guys, they're going to have, if they're going to use clips that we've already seen, if they're going to be all unseen clips, if they're going to be reusing clips in their previous video that they will have in smaller videos, because that was something that I felt particularly strong about. If you look at their old videos, there were several clips, in particular a lot of COD 4 Rig Scope 25s that they used in their final team touch before Extol 2, and then ended up reusing in Extol 2. I'm curious if we'll see that. I'm sure it's immaterial, honestly. They'll end up being good no matter what. However, I wanted to point out some interesting names to look out for on this roster, right? So, like, there are ADK and Anarchy. Anarchy's been doing a lot of Fortnite stuff lately. I'll be interested to see how he does coming back to Call of Duty. I'm sure he's still absolutely nasty. Dargs, I thought Dargs was like totally done playing. Obviously, I don't know a lot of these people. I don't talk to a lot of them. Dre will definitely have, you know, his usual fuck level clips where he just pops off. Kings will have great stuff. I wonder if we're going to get any Modern Warfare 2 clips from Glare. He's been absolutely fucking kids up on COD 4 lately, you know. Lean, I'm sure, will have his usual Black Ops clips that are absolutely cracked as usual. Like, I'm very hopeful. I'm curious to see if Tick's going to be shitting out some Modern Warfare 2 bangers. But anyway, there's quite a big roster here. Leads me on to my next point of talking is, will they be expanding this roster? I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen, but I'd say likely not. I mean, in the past, we've had all sorts of people who are, you know, particularly driven to join this team and they want to contribute, really grind hard to try to get into it. And I would not be at all surprised to see them add names to this list. I would not be surprised to see some people decide this isn't really for me anymore and dip out before Extol 3 comes out. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these people just have like a clip or two that maybe even they've already hit that ends up in Extol 3 and that's all they contribute. But it's a pretty sizable roster with a lot of familiar names, and I definitely don't see them adding anyone new. If anything, I expect they'll probably add people that have already been in Exalt in the past that are, you know, just coming back to play, because like a lot of these big teams that are coming back right now, for the most part, it's really just like groups of people that already knew each other just reconnecting. And, you know, I imagine it'll be something like that in this case. Also, something I forgot to mention about clips, I'm very intrigued to see if any of the clips they hit will be sniper lobby clips or modded in any way, because previously these guys have been absolutely immaculate with the standard of clips they uphold in their videos. Like, no sniper lobbies, no modded clips to speak of, nothing suspicious really at all. And that's a pretty miraculous feat, and it's honestly pretty hard even to get lobbies going these days in general, and even harder sometimes to escape these little shortcuts that people use to stack lobbies in their favor to hit big clips. But I'll be very intrigued to see how that works. The other question that I raised with this roster is, will people that are on this roster that have been in other teams, such as Eon, which is one that I will be touching on at some point here, will those people still be working on projects for other teams? Because that seems like a big question for me, specifically for people like Reaver and DNZ. We have Time and Space 2, where DNZ and Reaver put out two of the actual best Call of Duty edit segments ever of all time, and I will stand by that and actually have a standalone video talking about Time and Space 2 that's in the works, coming out at some point. But like, for anyone who hasn't seen it, like, you throw this shit up, this is just like, the visuals are incredible. Actually get into the actual video here, right around here. Like, just truly stellar, like the borders, the syncing, sounds, it's all just absolutely incredible. DNZ absolutely crushes it here. I mean, their current editing roster also is surprisingly small. We'll give this a quick pause. Just Reaver, DNZ, and Psycho. So Reaver and DNZ had both previously worked on stuff for Exalt, of course. Psycho had previously worked on stuff for Exalt. Reaver and DNZ have been working with Eon for a bit here, and I'm curious to see if they're going to be doing the same style of video, really, because if you look at this is not the usual Exalt style, this right here, and yet I think from all the edits I've ever seen from DNZ, I think this is his best work. And I actually think the same thing about Reaver's section at the end of this, which I will also be jumping to at some point, because I actually specifically want to talk about Reaver. DNZ has never disappointed me, and This right here, that little zoom, like, this guy is absolutely insane. I hope to see an edit of this level coming out from D&Z on Exalt projects. And it would be even cooler if they matched this exact same kind of music, which, I mean, previously hasn't really been Exalt's style. They tend to go on the harder rock, like, just south of, like, metal kind of things. And for their big team tages, they just go full metal, that kind of thing. I'm very intrigued to see what exactly they're going to do. But, I mean, so that covers D&Z. I don't really have much to say about Psycho. None of his edits have ever, like, really jumped out at me as, like, truly excellent, but I can't remember anything bad that he's ever done. But now I want to talk about Reaver. Many of you, including myself, acknowledge that Reaver is one of the best editors ever to touch the Call of Duty scenes. His best works are absolutely incredible. But for me personally, Reaver is a real big hit or miss kind of guy, and I will show you some things like this that I would like to pick on. So if we look at Reaver's section in Time and Space 2, right up at the end here, his section where he does an edit to Muse's Stockholm Syndrome, absolutely nutty. This is, in my opinion, perhaps the best closing section edit that's been made to date. Like, it's just, there is nothing bad to be said about this edit. It's so incredible. And if Reaver pulls off things like this for Exalt edits, without a doubt, Exalt will be dropping the most entertaining videos of all time once again. But, like, the guy's absolutely insane when he does things like this. But for me, when I said Reaver's sort of a difficult guy to please me, or I didn't say exactly that, but that's sort of what I mean, I'm talking about things like in Extol 2, which I'll be looking at a little more in depth maybe throughout this video. I'd like to, so let's see, they should have timestamps here. So Reaver did Gravity Lies. Let's see if I can find where that starts real quick. Yeah. So I, on top of the fact that I just don't really like Gravity Lies as a big Team Taj song, I was very underwhelmed by Reaver's edit in Extol 2. And that's an unpopular opinion, alright? I acknowledge that. I think if you look at his Time and Space 2 section, there is a whole fucking world of difference in quality between this right here, which is just absolutely flawless in my eyes. As an editor who spends a lot of hours editing, watching edits, thinking about how to make them better, this is flawless right here. This is absolutely flawless. But then, if you jump over here and look at, there's one particular clip where I was like, in this section where I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Now, part of this, I'd like to point out, this section in particular bugs me because I don't like this song for a big Team Taj, or like this song in general. I've probably listened to Gravity Lies of my own accord when I'm not watching a montage less than 5 times ever. I don't think it's a fantastic song, and I don't think on top of that Reaver did it great justice. Like, this clip right here is edited pretty well, but I'm going to see if I can find it. There's an Inter 5 multi on Afghan, right here. This, like, the pacing, or I'll jump back a little bit just so we can see the clips coming up before that. So you have, so like, in terms of pacing, things seem like pretty good here. Like, nothing to complain about there. The jump shot's nice. But I don't think Reaver does slow things particularly well. Obviously, slow sections are difficult to do, but I feel like there's like too much blur there. This clip I would have loved to see with more than just a little bit of blur and then pan crop overlaid on. Like, I don't know. I have a lot of like very nitpicky complaints about some of Reaver's more controversial edits in my eyes. So it's coming up here. There's this Inter 5 on Afghan where it's like the pacing is just like inexcusably bad for the syncing. Also, there was a big that he did right there. Reaver's kind of guilty of really running this. I'll point it out right when it happens. If you look at the L11, he does this. I believe they call it dual render, where they have like, or something like that, where some of the screen is unblurred and the rest is blurred to draw your attention to, you know, the multi-kill and that sort of thing. I think he kind of abuses that little technique a little bit too much, and I think it's almost gimmicky in some ways, and I don't like seeing it too much. Now, once a video, sure, but like sometimes it doesn't land so well. But like, I don't know, I feel like Reaver can fall into the trap of sometimes being a little lazy, and I'm not saying, I don't want to, Reaver, if you're watching this, or if anyone who's going to defend him is watching this, I'm not saying he's a bad editor. He is way better than me. He is miles better than I will ever be. That doesn't mean I can't identify things that he doesn't do well. Because right here, I believe it's after this clip, is the inter-Afghan multi, where it's just like, what the hell was he doing with the pacing? Right here. Like, dude, you can barely fucking see the shots in that clip. Like, if Reaver ends up editing a big part of Extol 3, and there are sections like this right here, no flashes. It's just pan crop and really aggressively accelerated shots on this clip. That's fucking lazy. I don't like seeing things like that. Now I sound a little heated here, and that's just because I don't know what it is. I feel like I hold these guys to too high of a standard, honestly. But enough about that. Reaver has sections like that, but then of course just going back to this fucking masterpiece where the pacing is literally perfect. Like, part of it is definitely like the syncing right here, the beats that he chooses to have the shots on. It could not be better. Like, it's just so goddamn excellent. Like, great transitions. Like, the dude is a truly gifted editor, but I think his lows can really bug me in particular, and I hope that does not happen. Also on the note of their editing roster, so I'm curious to not see people like Jams or Jamsy. I know he said some controversial things on Twitter lately. I don't know if that has anything to do with him not being there. And I believe he even replied to one of their tweets somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Yeah, right here. He seems surprised. He's like, what? And like, this dude seems pretty fucking surprised that he's coming back, which tells me they probably didn't reach out to him. And I think someone who edited us sections like the infamous No Matter What the Cost. Oh, that's loud as fuck. We'll turn that down. But someone who gave us stuff like this right here. Like, he gave us this section that's coming up. You all know what's coming right here in this video. The dude who edits like this, I feel, obviously I'm not in control of the team. I don't know what reasons they did or didn't reach out to him for, but I feel like it's almost criminal to have, like, I feel like it's kind of a small editing roster. And then you have, I want to jump over really quick to EYG5. Super fast here. Where's the section? Here it is. Okay, yeah. So Laws' section of EYG5 is absolutely fucking nutty. And obviously, I don't know if even Laws is doing stuff anymore, but they had people like him who were never, like, as far as I'm aware, explicitly in Exalt, do sections for them. And I'd be, like, if you look here, they have, like, Essins did a section, Laws did a section. That's another thing I forgot about, actually. I'm sure, looking at their roster here, that they're going to have, I would not be surprised to see Essins do a section at all. In fact, I hope he does, and I hope he impresses me. Because this actually leads me into another concern I have about a big Exalt video, or rather, potential criticisms. Exalt has sort of had this thing they do where they seem to be certain editors, and maybe Essins in particular, seems to like avoid slow sections of songs. And I know I was just riffing on Reaver for not doing a slow section well, but it can be done well. But you end up with moments like this in Extol 2, where is it marked somewhere? Unknown Soldier. Where's the Unknown Soldier section? You end up with sections like this right here, where you have song cuts to avoid slow sections, and it ends up really, really, like this song cut right here. I'll play it. I'll just let it play and not say a word for a second. That really bugs me. For anyone who likes the song Unknown Soldier, which I think is one of Breaking Benjamin's best songs, if not their best, that song cut doesn't sound good. It's at least like on beat. Like I'll give him that, but like doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound natural, and that really bugs me. I would have loved to see like a slow-paced like section of, I don't know, like you could there are all sorts of things you can do with that. You could get interesting variety clips in there. You can have reg gun clips during slow sections. You can have a triple section. You could have a quad section if you want to do that. There are so many little things that you can do in slow sections. And the worst part about this is that they fucking did it in EYG4 too, and it was trash with a Through the Fire and the Flames song cut. And they seem to not have fucking learned at all from... Nope, that's not it. Is it up here? Nope, it's further back. Gotta turn this down quite a bit. But there were some song cuts in this that are just so inexcusably bad. And obviously this is from 2014, but right here. Oh, it's not right here. I lied. But anyway, they're like the real killer part about this Extol 2 song cut that pisses me off. The real part that really drives home the aggravation is that they did the same fucking thing in EYG4, and in EYG4 it didn't seem natural, and the fact that they made that mistake again kind of concerns me. That they did it. They also did it. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, right there. Right there. That's absolutely terrible. Like, the edit's good. The edit's good, okay? And who was it that did this section? I'm sure it says it somewhere. Yeah, Essins did this. Now, Essins a great editor. Probably way better than me. All right? You'll hear me say it before any of them do. But I remember tweeting post Extol because I also had issues with Extol, the original, their first giant team Taj, which apparently I don't have open anymore. In Extol, I thought their song selection wasn't great, and I thought their editing was like, you know, like it was good, but the song selection wasn't really good enough to make up for the editing wasn't good enough to make up for the song selection. Like with Extol, you have the opening section, which is like a minute 15 long, and it's like the most unbelievably hype opening section ever. Like absolutely wild. And the edit on the opening part was just so good, it didn't really, and the song selection was so good, it didn't really, it set my expectations too high for the rest of the video. And I think Extol 2 has the same thing. Yet again, the opening section is ungodly amazing. Like, the opening section of Extol 2 is for sure one of the best ever. It's really good. And, like, you know, it goes on and has all these really nice clips. And then from there, you go into a Breaking Ben edit that starts off really fucking strong, right? Like, but then I feel like the edit just sort of like wears itself out. And then on top of the fact that it's a bold choice to use a song that's been so played out, like Unknown Soldier, in a big video like this. Now, I'm sure they're just trying to do it for rewatch value. Like, it's a song everyone loves, and it's a safe pick. And the syncing here is excellent. Like, it's so good. It's so fucking good. But the song cut later in the video that I already highlighted is just so fucking shit. Like, this section right here, and I believe the syncing on this clip, that right there, where there was like the little bit of lag between the shot and the hit marker sound, really excellent. And I really hope these guys nail it with Extol 3. Like, I'm not saying Extol and Extol 2 are bad, but they're not perfect videos. And I consider Time and Space 2 to be a perfect video. You can argue with me as much as you want on that. But there are some pretty heinous editing flaws in Extol and Extol 2, EYG4, EYG5 not so much. But like, there have been some pretty heinous editing faux pas that these guys occasionally make, and I hope not to see that. And I've been talking about this for I don't even fucking know how long now. I'm going to stop harping on editing mistakes that they've made in the past now, and I'm going to move on and ask questions like, what do I think their editing style will be? Well, based on the fact that they have Reaver, DNZ, and Psycho, I'm gonna imagine their editing style might actually end up being closer to Time and Spit to like Eon's style of editing, or at least I'm going to hope that's how it's going to be, rather than their hard rock stuff. Because and part of it is I just like this sort of music, like Pond and that style of music I tend to like better anyway. But I imagine between Reaver, DNZ, Psycho, and Essins, they'll probably have. I'd like to see them have a mix. Like, you can do their classic, like, banger opening section, like this shit right here, where they have, like, like a decently hardcore edit, or not really hardcore, but they have, like, a hard rock edit, which is absolutely off the fucking rails good, and then they could fucking follow it up with something like this fucking Pond edit that DNZ does, which is just so amazing. I would love to see them try to do some shit like that, where they mix styles of editing and styles of songs, because, god damn it, this is a good editing roster. Reaver's highest edits are the best ever. DNZ is absolutely stellar, like I've said already. I'm very curious to see what their approach is going to be to their stylistic editing, if they're going to pick if they're going to pick hard rock songs, if they're going to do that kind of thing. But then here's another question. Are they going to do hard rock for Extol 3? And are they also going to do smaller videos with, like softer, like more relaxed songs? Like some of their coolest smaller TTs are the ones where they had a streak where they were using a lot of Boston songs. Like they did Foreplay Long Time. I'm trying to, there were they did edits to a bunch of different Boston songs that were really, really good. And I'd love to see smaller stuff like that as well as their big, like, hard rock, big Team Taj edits and shit like that. I think that would be really cool. But the real question for me in terms of their editing is, can Reaver make the magic happen? If he can, they're going to release the best video of all fucking time. Or maybe that's a little bit too high of praise or too high of an expectation, but I think in terms of editing, Reaver and DNZ are better than they have ever been, and they could make one of the smoothest goddamn videos ever. But moving on from that, I want to look at, actually, I guess that actually covers it. Like, that's more or less everything I wanted to talk about. I have very high expectations for what these guys decide to put out. I'm sure they will do, like, some good stuff no matter what. It'll probably meet my expectations, if not exceed it. They always, at least clip-wise and that sort of thing, they always make the best videos. And if any of you are watching this, I'm sorry if I bothered you. I think you guys are going to do great. I'm glad to see you back. You'll make some really entertaining videos. Be on the lookout for the Q&A that I might be doing with people like Glare. I hope to touch on some of the things that I talk about in this video. And yeah, that pretty much covers it. I'll jump back here real quick. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you suffered through all of my nerd ranting and shit like that, yeah, I adore COD. Maybe not as much as Kurz, but this is definitely a hobby I care a lot about. Anyway, that's that. If you have any questions for me, any comments, you want to argue with me, fucking put that shit down in the comment section. It's all good fun for me. I don't care if the attention's negative. It's all in good fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. See ya.